It comes as part of the territory that when we are constructing and installing pipelines, we are in a constant state of excavating soil or backfilling trenches. Excavations are one of our primary activities. They are also highly regulated and with very strict internal standards in place on how to work with this aspect of construction. It is important to be aware of and follow the rules and regulations guiding excavation activities. Regulatory guidelines. If you are working in British Columbia, our work is guided by WorkSafe BC. In Alberta, it is guided by Occupational Health and Safety Guidelines. Federally, we work to the Canadian Energy Regulators Guidelines. Each organization's legislative requirements are published on its website, and we encourage you to read them carefully. Please take a minute to familiarize yourself with the regulatory organizations' websites and where they access their excavation standards. Surerus Murphy Management System. Our organization has taken these external requirements and applied them to our own. We have safe operating procedures and our own guidelines that govern how we work with open excavations. Our requirements are part of our management system, located on the internal M drive. Within the M drive, access the Health and Safety tab, find the Standards folder, and open the Ground Disturbance and Utilities file. They are also duplicated in folders specific to each project's plans. There are a few items consistent with all excavation construction that we would like you to pay special attention. They include curbs, soil types, safe access and egress, bell holes. And conditions around each excavation site are different. Each excavation needs to be evaluated based on its own merit. For example, a curb must be installed where practicable and whenever there is a danger of a vehicle or other equipment running off the edge of an elevated area. Specific to installing curbs, here are some criteria to consider. Does the excavation create a constrained workspace? Is the excavation located at a high traffic position on the right-of-way? Is the topography around the excavation such that it increases the risk of vehicles, heavy equipment losing traction? Are there slopes, curves, or turns around the excavation that increase the risk of vehicles, heavy equipment losing traction? Do nearby shoe-fly, travel lanes, or roads pose a risk of vehicles accidentally driving off the excavation? Are there public roads nearby that pose a risk? Are there other uncontrolled hazards that can only be controlled with a curb or barrier? If the answer is yes to one or more of these questions, then a curb needs to be considered and in some cases is required. We have created a decision tree, which you will find under the Health and Safety tab, Standards folder, Ground Disturbance and Utilities file, Excavating and Trenching subfile, and associated forms on the Management System drive, which can help with decision-making. While curbs are critical aspects of regulation, there are other key considerations too. One of them is the type of soil consistent in the area. The 4 types of soil range from dry, dense, and hard to wet, muddy, and soft. The softer the soil, the more the sides of the excavation must be sloped to protect against erosion and cave-ins. For example, trenches built into hard and compact soils can be built at a steeper angle than trenches where the soil conditions are softer and contain more rock. For more specific information on this, review our safe operating procedure titled Excavation, Trenching, and Backfill. The type of soil, along with the location of the trench, will influence aspects of the excavation, like the slope, engineered temporary protective structures, the use of trench shields, cutbacks to the wall, and more. Access, egress. All excavations, safe access and egress. A chicken run is a long, smooth ramp that leads from the bottom of the trench to grade level. The slope of the ramp needs to be gradual enough to allow workers to walk up and down the ramp safely. Cut-ins are staircases cut into the trench wall. In these cases, stairs are cut into the wall of the trench while not jeopardizing the integrity of the wall itself. In BC, chicken runs that rise more than 122 centimeters or 4 feet, or cut-ins with 4 risers or more require guardrails or railings. Ladders are another option, particularly when the wall is more vertical than sloped. Ladders must be a minimum of 1 meter above ground level and secured at ground for stabilization. Bell holes. Another point of consideration is the bell hole inspection. These are 4-person inspections conducted before anyone is allowed to access inside the trench. This is an inspection that needs to be conducted before the start of work or after a work interruption and during any significant conditional change, like after a heavy rain. Make sure these inspections are documented and recorded in the bell hole entry checklist. Of course, fencing is also required around open excavation. Fencing serves multiple purposes. They are a visual indicator of a work area. They deter wildlife from entering the excavation, and they are a reminder of the importance of safe operations. When installing fences, they should be a minimum of 6 feet from the edge of the excavation, or else a hard guardrail is required. There are many aspects of construction to consider in order to ensure our excavations are safe and compliant. It is each of our responsibility to know the guidelines and legislative regulations, understand Surerus Murphy's standards and operating procedures, and to work safely and in compliance. At the end of the day, all regulation is in support of a safe work environment, and that's our goal too. More than anything, we are focused on working safely and protecting our workers. Do your part. Work safely. Thank you.